Today, Orthodox Christians celebrate Christmas in more than 100 countries. Festive services have been held in church in Kazakhstan as well. President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, has congratulated the Orthodox Christians in the country. His congratulation message has been published on the Akhorda website. The head of state highlighted that interfaith harmony is one of the most important factors of Kazakhstan's successful development. He said that the state is built and developed based on the fundamental principle of unity in diversity. President Tokayev said that the Orthodox Christians are an integral part of the society, who significantly contribute to reinforcement of the country's independence. January 7th has been a public holiday in Kazakhstan since 2005. It is a custom to celebrate Christmas with bright thoughts. The Holy Scripture says that, if therefore you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother has anything against you, leave your gift there before the altar, and go your way. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. These words in the Scripture show your attitude to the God, to faith, to the Church, and to the people around us. Of course, we should strive to be pure in heart and sincere in thought. Kazakhstan is increasing the production of its automobile industry. The scale of production has doubled at the Kostanai Automotive Plant. The expansion of the range of light cars and heavy vehicles has affected the growth. 10 world brand cars are being assembled at the factory. The plant started exporting the vehicles 3 years ago. We have gained the experience in car assembly. We mainly export cars to Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Russia and Belarus. The increasing production requires new employees. Future specialists are being trained at the factory. 400 students were trained based on a dual education system. The enterprise was ranked the first in terms of the production of automobile and special equipment. It was also the first in sales of products in Kazakhstan and abroad. More than 25,000 vehicles worth 165 billion tenge were assembled in the factory.
China's Belt and Road Initiative will contribute to the economic growth of Central Asian countries. Experts opined that all of the countries will be able to attract Chinese investments in new infrastructure projects. Central Asian countries are interested in developing their logistics as well as transport sector as part of the initiative program. The projects include the Western Europe-Western China Highway, the North-South Railway Project, the Trans-Asian Railway Corridor, and the Chongqing-Duisburg Line.
By now, already about 130 countries have signed some kind of Belt and Road agreement with China. That's basically most of the countries of Eurasia and Africa. That constitutes about 60% of world population. I think basically at this phase, Belt and Road project is for the developing countries, because they really need basic infrastructure. So I think that the first winners might be the developing countries, and then maybe the developed countries will have some advantages too.
After Kyrgyzstan joined the Eurasian Economic Union, a fire testing laboratory has been opened in Bishkek, which will determine the cause of fire and flammability of building materials. The personnel of the Ministry of Emergency Situations had undergone training in Russia until the opening of the specialized institution. 8 of the employees have received relevant certificates. A similar laboratory is planned to be opened in Osh.
В связи с открытием этого лаборатории мы уже смело можем сказать, определить причины.
We can establish causes of fire legally due to the opening of this lab. There are several devices that can find out about a fire's cause. In case of lawsuits, our experts will be able to prove the origin of the fire.
Наши специалисты могут смело доказать причины пожара.
Далее мы планируем, чтобы все наши испытания были внесены.
We plan to introduce our tests and to compile ministerial administrative regulations of our services. Then our management will decide how we continue to work.
Испытания, и тогда уже будет решать руководство, как мы будем работать дальше.
To date, all works related to the laboratory equipment have been completed. The lab is planned to be accredited by the EAEU. The ministry has announced that another laboratory will be opened in Bishkek, where materials that are used in construction of skyscrapers will be tested. Kazakhstan continues prioritizing science and innovation in order to develop the competitiveness and growth of the country's economy. Research work by local scientists yielded good results in the past year. Scientists of the Kazakh National Nuclear Center have conducted the final stage of the physical launch of the world's first specialized tokamak. They have proved the possibility of creating and maintaining a high-temperature plasma where a reaction takes place. In other words, the scientists introduced the idea of creating an artificial sun. Kazakhstan is in the list of the top 10 countries that possess advanced research facilities for controlled thermonuclear reaction.
2019 год, безусловно, один из лучших.
Undoubtedly, 2019 was one of the best years in the history of the National Nuclear Center in terms of the projects that we implemented and financial revenues we received as a result of our activities. The uniqueness of this launch is that the Kazakhstan tokamak for material testing is the first specialized tokamak in the world, which allows conducting research in materials science.
Материаловедческие исследования.
Experts of the Nuclear Center and their Japanese colleagues are conducting a pilot project designed to minimize the consequences of severe accidents.
Те наши уникальные наработки, наши уникальные компетенции, которые мы имеем.
Our unique accomplishments and competencies allow attracting new partners, specifically from Russia and France. Meanwhile, we continue our work with Japan in this area. This year, we have successfully converted 2 reactors from highly enriched uranium to low-enriched uranium, which means that the reactors are in a safe state in terms of non-proliferation issues.
Устранение, то есть перевод их с высокообогащенного на низкообогащенное топливо.
The scientists have achieved success in radioecology as well. Nearly 70% of the Semipalatinsk test site has been investigated. Last year, the National Nuclear Center of Kazakhstan was named as the best research project of the Nuclear Technology Park among 12 similar projects globally. A 19-year-old Maxim Ryumin has been studying a computer vision for several years. One of the winners of 100 New Faces of Kazakhstan project plans to apply his knowledge in a range of areas. The young software engineer tests his development on the smartphone using a camera and a special application. The student of Kostanai Building College conducts an environmental project as well.
Структурирование изучения бактерий с помощью компьютерного зрения. То есть мы, допустим,
We examine the structure of bacteria via the computer vision. For example, we study a material in a digital microscope. Then we find out what exactly the material is. It can be infusoria or something else. This is how we can analyze the composition of water or any substance.
состав воды, состав любого вещества.
Maxim is involved in social projects as well. One of the projects is Inva Taxi Service. He started a school of robotics at his college. The robotics classroom was equipped due to the funds allocated for this project. Children have used robotics sets for 6 months. Maxim doesn't plan to stop here. He has future plans. After graduating the college, he will apply to study at the university. Five thematic exhibitions are opened in the National Library of Kazakhstan. The main goal of the event is to provide information about the 175th anniversary of Abay Xunanbayұлы, the 750th anniversary of the Golden Horde, and the 1150th anniversary of Al-Farabi. Unfortunately, the manuscripts of Al-Farabi have not been preserved in our country. The manuscripts might be somewhere in the world. There is a book which contains the photographs of Al-Farabi's manuscripts being kept in Italy. This is the book. Scientists presented their research works during the opening of the exhibition, showcasing their latest findings and developments.
Я последние 5 лет исследовал Абая с точки зрения философии. и подготовил вот новое издание.
I have been studying Abai's philosophy for the last 5 years. I've prepared a new edition in a new format. The previous format of Abai's Words of Edification was numbered differently back in 1932. The ideology about the existence of the God and faith were prohibited for publication previously. Therefore, Mukhtar Awezov changed the authentic numeration, which I restored in this edition.
Представляет. Поэтому это первоначальная нумерация здесь восстановлена.
Кезінде мемлекет басшысының өзі Ұлытауда
It is important to focus on the Golden Horde topic. As was stated by the head of state, our traditions and culture is part of the Golden Horde heritage. Researchers believe that Kazakh Khans were the descendants of Genghis Khan of the Golden Horde. This proves that the origins of our nation and ethnicity derive from that period.
өнер қайраткерлері, сол сияқты мәдениет қайраткерлері қалам тартты.
The exhibition at the National Library of Kazakhstan presented books, archival documents, and photographs. Visitors can learn the history of the formation and development of local journalism from the photographs and other displayed exhibits.
Turkestan plans to attract about 5 million tourists annually by 2024. Several projects have been kick-started in the region, which includes the recreation of the Kultobe ancient city and construction of new museums. A 3D model of medieval Turkestan was also developed using new technologies.
Жалпы туризм саласы бойынша 2024 жылға дейін
35 projects worth 300 billion tenge are planned to be implemented in the region by 2024. Tourist complex, hotels, botanical park, and artisan center will be built throughout the region. 11 facilities will be opened next year.
Ежелгі Түркістанның тарихын ашсаң, мүлде басқа әлемге қадам басасың.
The major attractions in South Kazakhstan is drawn in 3D graphics by experts. These include Sauran, Sidak, Karatobe, and Oterar. The video completely recreate the life in the cities during the Middle Ages. Usually we use 3D graphics in feature films. This time the work was hard. We read many historical books and studied the first photos of the mausoleum to make the video as realistic as possible. There are 1,663 monuments of history and culture in Turkestan region. There are also 57 tourist routes, including environmental, historical, and cultural, as well as other areas. Creation of qualitative service is a high priority. The region regularly conducts training courses for tour guides and tourism managers.
An exhibition of documentary photographer Torar Kazangapov was held in Tokyo. The exhibition, which showcased the beginning of a big story of Kazakhstan, is the photographer's first project. Initially, I thought that the exhibition showcases only the beautiful nature of the country, but I was pleasantly surprised when I saw the portraits. The photos of people are so lively. I really liked the exhibition. Now I want to personally visit Kazakhstan. The landscapes and portraits were clearly expressed in pictures for the Japanese compared to 1,000 words. 70 Japanese who visited the exhibition have learned the correct information about the country of the Great Steppe. It was important for us to see everything with our own eyes, since we do not know much about your country. I had a good impression of the people and life in Kazakhstan. I like the photos of children. The photographer successfully conveyed all the kindness and inner strength through their eyes.
Жапондықтарға осы жерде көрмеде көп суреттер ұнады. Көбіне олар жаңағы
The Japanese liked the photos, especially the ones that depict the nature of Kazakhstan. They were looking at the pictures for a long time. They even found a picture of a mountain that is similar to the Mount Fuji. They also liked the photos of Dimash Kudaibergen and Gennady Golovkin. Generally, I think that all the photos have made a pleasant impression of our country.
Біздің боксшымыз Головкиннің суретін өте қатты ұнатты. Жалпы барлық суреттер өте тартымды әсер қалдырды жапондықтардың алдында.
The Kazakhstan-Japan Media Center, which organized the cultural event, has announced that there will be more similar projects this year. In addition to exhibitions, concerts, performances, film screenings, as well as creation of joint films are planned to be held.